Hi guys, so the second part of chapter 6 in your syllabus will be in chapter 9 in your textbook, which is developing new products and managing the product life cycle. These are the learning objectives. There are 4 things. We're going to see how company find and develop new product ideas. Secondly, list and define the steps in new product development process. Next is describe the stages of product life cycle and the additional product issues when marketing or when selling the product globally. So let's first look at the learning objective number 1, how companies find and develop new product ideas. So there are many ways to find new ideas of the product. So normally you can do acquisition, which refers to buying of a whole company, a patent, or a license to produce someone else's product. Okay, or you can do new product development, which you start from scratch, which is the original product, or it can be product development of the existing one, product modification, and new brands development developed from the firm's own research and development. Now let's look at the second part of this chapter, which is the steps in new product development process. Basically, there are 8 steps, 8 steps in the new product development process. This is thinking of whether that particular new ideas are actually considered a good idea for you to materialize it and create a product out of it and sell it to the market. So it first starts with idea generation, then idea screening, concept development and testing, marketing strategy development, business analysis, product development, test marketing, and lastly the commercialization. When you do commercialization, this is the launching of the new product to the whole market. Let's first look at the idea generation. What happened here? It is actually a systematic search for new product ideas, which the sources could be from internal or external of the company. Internal sources could be from your own company's employees, research and development, okay, from the management ideas and so on, while external could include outside your companies, which normally the idea generated from the customer feedbacks, customer complaint, customer suggestions, okay, or even looking at your competitors' product. Some companies even do reverse engineering by getting the competitors' product, and what they do is that they reverse engineer the product by what they do is they open up that particular product and see what is actually inside, so that they can know what is actually the product are made of, and then they create a better product than the competitors. That could be the external sources. Other than that, it could also includes from your distributors, from the suppliers, okay, and the idea could be from the observation of the market itself. This is what I told you just now, the internal sources and also external sources. Now, you can also do crowdsourcing. This is getting more and more popular, crowdsourcing, which involves inviting broad communities of people, could include the customer, employees, independent scientists, and also researchers, or even the public, into the new product innovation process. And a good example is when Under Armour do this crowdsourcing, okay, but what they did was they did a competition they called the Future Show Innovation Challenge, in which it invites people to pitch new product ideas in a splashy Shark Tank like reality TV setting. So from there, then they can get the winner of the competition to reward them with some money or some prizes, but the ideas that the winner gives is actually the product that you will actually make. Second step in new product development process is idea screening, which this is when you are screening out the ideas, okay, by dropping out the poor ideas and look at the RWW screening framework, which is it real? Can we win? Is it worth or not doing that particular product? This is still an idea, So from the idea generation just now, we just generate as many ideas as possible, and from that ideas, then you go to the screening of the idea, meaning to say you try to filter, see which actually ideas actually realistic, and you can win it by making sure that when you produce your product, then people will buy. Okay, and is it worth or not in terms of your initial investment, the technology that you need to acquire, expertise that you need to have in order for you to have the product, and you can sell that product at a very good price. Okay, that is when is it worth doing or not. The third stage is concept development and testing. So in this step, you have the product idea, okay, which is the idea for a possible product that the company can see itself offering to the market. And then you create a product concept. From the product idea just now, you create a product concept with a detailed version of the idea here just now in a meaningful consumer terms. And then you create the product image, which is the way consumer will perceive an actual or the potential product that you are going to produce. The fourth stage is concept development and testing. Here it refers to testing new product concept with groups of target consumers. Okay, you are basically still trying to get people to understand about the concept of that particular product. For example, this electric cars product. Okay, when Tesla first initiated the what they call it, full-fledged electric car, yeah, does people get the idea or able to believe that the electric car actually will work or not? Okay, so with that, then if they say yes, the concept is acceptable by the customer, then they can move on by doing the marketing strategy development, which is in the fifth stage. This is when you design an initial marketing strategy for a product based on the product concept, okay, which consists of your target market description, value proposition that you plan, the sales, market share, and also the marketing mix for the product itself. Then the sixth stage, which you do the business analysis. This is a review of the sales, cost, and also profit projection for that new product to find out whether these factors will actually satisfy or not the company's objective and also the shareholders, okay, by looking at the return on investment of the product that you're going to sell. Stage number 7 is product development. Then only when everything goes right, then you start to develop the product physically. Okay, remember all those steps just now that you did, you sorry, you don't have the physical product yet. Everything is just an idea, a concept of it, and a description of it. It could be in the 3D drawings, okay, it could be just on the video, in the multimedia. Those are during the concept testing and so on. But here in product development, this is when you actually build or make the product into a physical product to make sure that the idea just now can be turned into a workable market offering. Okay. Then you do the market testing. Okay, this is the 7th stage. In test marketing, you already have the product physically. Okay. And then what you do is that you will introduce this particular product to your target market in a smaller scale, yeah, which is more realistic market testing, settings. Okay, so it could be some chosen location or some chosen stores only to run this particular test marketing to see whether people actually able to get the product and able to accept and buy the product that you are doing. For example, companies sometimes shorten or skip task marketing to take advantage of fast-changing market development, as Starbucks did with its hugely successful mobile payment apps. A very good example of this innovation is, this new product development is when Starbucks, created their mobile apps payment by topping up money to your virtual card on your mobile apps, right? Then people now are very receptive towards this kind of payment, other than of course they do give you some rewards, okay, and also get some discount. Every time you make mobile purchase, you get RM1 discount for every cup of coffee that you buy from Starbucks. Now, why some companies they skip the market testing. Yeah, so there are reasons why, or the most likely that you will do the test marketing is when the product is worth a very large investment and you have uncertainty about the product or marketing program. But you can skip, meaning to say you will not do the test marketing when the line extension is simple. It is actually a copy of competitors' product. It's cheap, okay, and the management has a very high confidence toward the product to be commercialized. So the last stage is commercialization, which involves introducing the new product to the world or to the market. This is when you decide when you're going to launch it, where you want to launch the product, and you plan for the market rollout. So what is a market rollout? Market rollout is actually when you produce product by batch. Of course, you cannot produce 1,000 or 1 million unit per batch, okay, unless it's pencils, then okay code, you produce pencil. But when you talk about cars, for example, or even iPhone, when Apple launch its new iPhone, they will always plan for this market rollout by saying that, okay, when we launch it today, but then the market will be able to get it in the next 1 week with the restriction of course, people in the United States will get it first, okay. After the United States has actually go beyond the second or the third batch, then you can go, then you can plan for marketing that particular iPhone to European countries, to the Asian countries, and so on. Okay, so they plan the market rollout is by looking at first batch we need to produce in how many months, or how many, yeah, normally months lah, how many months or weeks. Okay, and then the second one, when should you actually market it, or when you should ship that particular product so that it is available to those other countries that you don't plan in the first market rollout, and then it proceed to the third, the fourth, and so on. All right. So this is actually basically the 8 stages of new product development process. So successful new product development should be customer-centered. It has to be team-based and also systematic done. Yeah. Customer-centered product should have, or should focus on finding new ways to solve the customer problems and creating more customer satisfying experiences. So that's when Huawei, for example, when they produce their Huawei Pro Mate 30, is it P30 kah? Right? They look in terms of the camera, how good or how satisfying will be the camera be when customer can zoom in like a binocular, for example. So that is customer focus. When they think that, okay, what the customer wants in the phone, what else do you want in the phone? Okay, so that is when they produce that kind of thing. And when you see iPhone 11 Pro Max also, they started to come out with the better camera, and people wanted to have a larger storage, okay, larger storage. So that's when they started to produce the memory or the storage of the phone up to 500 plus gigabyte, right? Not, and I think there's one company, I'm not sure which phone, they started to produce the phone with internal storage of 1 terabyte. Okay, so that is when it is customer centered, because they know what customer wants in the phone, because you store a lot of pictures, you have a lot of music, documents, emails, and so on, right? So it will be convenience and also beneficial to the customer when they buy that new product. Second, it has to be team-based new product, which involve various company departments working closely together, overlapping the steps in the product development process to save the time and also increase the effectiveness. So of course, you need to know that every new product comes from the information from the marketing department. So marketing department need to work together with the engineer, okay, telling the engineer or the R&D department, the scientist, what customer would like to have. So then you work together, and then you can actually be able to process that particular product in a shorter time. And when you talk about systematic, of course, with an innovation management system, like you create an innovation-oriented company culture like Google, okay, which can yield a large number of new product ideas every day. Google is a very innovative company. If you can read or Google the Google company itself, right, you will see that the company itself encourage all their customers, regardless at whatever level, whether they are at the lower level, middle level, or up management level, to generate ideas and give ideas for their new product. Okay. And then now there are also new product development in turbulent times, yeah, when the times are not really good, or when the company is facing what they call it, tragedy, not really a tragedy, turbulence lah, something that is not good. Okay, they need to be tempted in reducing the spending and also may become less competitive. So it's important that, let's say in this COVID-19 kind of environment, right? So a lot of companies are in these turbulent times. So what they're tempted to do is, of course, reducing a lot of spending. So you will not see many company producing or launching new product by this particular year, right? And some product would be becoming more or less competitive, okay, because people already have whatever they have now, and what is important is typically just food, isn't it? So food also, they all go back to the basic, what just the things that you need to eat. All right. Okay, moving on to the third learning objective for this chapter, which is to describe the stages in product life cycle and how marketing strategies change during a product life cycle. So product life cycle has 4 stages. Yeah, by looking at this particular graph, the product life cycle is always being shown in this kind of graph, yeah, which you have the introduction stage, growth, maturity, and also decline. Prior to this was what I have explained just now during the new product development process. Okay, so remember the commercialization just now. So when you do commercialization, this is when you are introducing your product to the market at the introduction stage. Then you have growth, maturity, and then decline. In these product life cycles, you can see 2 curves. Yeah, the first one is the sales curve and also the profit curves over a period of time versus their profits and also their sales. So in product development stage, of course, you have no sales lah, because you're still producing the product. Okay. Then in the introduction, there will be slow sales and non-existence of profit. Second stage, which is growth, there is when the rapid market acceptance and increasing profit, where you can see your sales growing up tremendously. Yeah. Next is the maturity stage, where there will be a slow sales growth and profit level off or even start to decline. And at the decline stage, of course, the word decline meaning your sales are going down. Okay, sales fall off, and also profit started to drop. So what happened in the introduction stage? Like I told you just now, the slow sales growth are the line is very slow going up, but then it's very slow. There will be little or no profit with high distribution and promotion expenses. So you need to do a lot of distribution expenses, or spending more on distributing the product and also promoting the product, because typically you want to create awareness that you have this new product. So there will be a lot of advertising kind of thing that you need to do in the introduction stage. At the second stage, which is growth stage, this is when you see that the sales increase tremendously. Yeah, it's going up very fast. Okay, and at this particular stage also, the competitors start to enter the market, because when you are in your introduction stage, competitors start to see there's a demand for your product. So they are actually producing their product while you are at your introduction stage. Now, when you are at your growth stage, the competitors start their introduction stage. Okay, so that is when you will see some new competitors entering the market. Profits start to increase during this growth stage. You will also receive or achieve economies of scale. Consumers are more educated about the product because they are getting more familiar about it, and you may start to lower down your price to attract more buyers. Moreover, you already have competitors, right? So you want to compete with your competitors, so you may want to lower a little bit about your price. The third stage is the maturity, where you will see the slowdown in sales with many suppliers to supply the products and also to supply the raw materials for your product. And then there are a lot of substitute products, and you will also have this. You will also normally have this overcapacity. Overcapacity meaning to say, because sales are going slower, your factory keep on producing because your factory may thought that you are still in the growth stage, right? But then what happens is that you may have overcapacity, meaning you have a lot of stocks, okay? You are being more, you over efficient, okay? You are over efficient, and so it will lead to the competition in a way that you want to sell off your product, okay? And you may do a lot more promotion and also R&D to support your sales and profit. So this is when you do more R&D in a way that you want to improvise the current products that you have, so that people will, the product will no longer in the maturity, but it might increase a little bit, okay, not going down to the decline stage. So the maturity stage strategy can be done by modifying the market, modifying the product, or modifying the marketing mix. Modifying the market is like instead of just targeting towards that particular location, now you might have other new location that you want to go to. Okay, modify the product is basically, of course, you improvise the product. Okay, you modify in whatever it is so that people will see a new look of your product. Or you modify your marketing mix, be it the promotion, be it the product itself, be the price, okay, or the place that you wanted to do, you wanted to sell on your product. And lastly, the decline stage. So what happened in decline stage? Of course, you know that the sales are going down, your profit is going down as well. So there are three strategies that you can do. Either you want to maintain the product. So if you maintain the product, then you become niche. Remember your concentrated strategy, meaning to say you only target at small number but large, in a way that there will be like maybe loyal customers towards this particular product. So you maintain it just to cater this particular small number of market that you targeted. Or you can also harvest the product, harvest in a way that you just finish up whatever that you have in your factory, and whatever raw materials that you have, you still produce it, or you might want to make use of those what they call it, machineries, the raw materials to produce another type of product. Okay, that is when you harvest it. And dropping the product meaning to say you completely stop producing. Okay, you completely stop producing and just let that particular production of the raw material in your production, you also might not want to make use of it to produce another thing. Okay, so that is basically you just shut the production for everything for that particular product. That is when you drop that particular product. So this is a summary of product lifecycle characteristics, objectives, and strategies, which I think is very, very useful for you to have the overall understanding towards your product lifecycle. Yeah. So you please read through what happened, and these are the things that are different. What are the differences between each stages and its characteristics? Yeah. This is the second part of it. And lastly, for this chapter, on the additional product issues, yeah, talking about the socially responsible product decision and international product and services marketing. So when you do this product decision and social responsibility, public policy and regulations regarding developing and dropping products, pattern, quality, safety, and product warranties should be considered carefully. All right, because you need to understand that different place will requires different kind of policy. Okay, different country may have different law and regulation towards the product. Okay, and different customers at different place will have different way of seeing your product. For example, in the United States, if you are exporting your product to the United States, you must know that the Americans, yeah, there are affluent customers, and they know they practice their consumer rights very much. Okay, so you must make sure that you are, if you are an exporter, let's say if you heard, yeah, when they say the coffee is fair trade. Okay, fair trade coffee, meaning to say they are considering all those farmers, yeah, who actually sells their coffee bean. Because in take example of our Malaysian context. Okay, our Malaysian context, the fishermen's, when the fishermen, they collect they catch the fish, right, and then the fish are being sold to the fishmongers. The price that the fisherman sells to the fishmongers are very cheap. Then the fishmongers later on will sell it to the fish market and so on at a very high price. So it is not fair for the fishermen. Okay, and another issue that happened also in our country was about the rubber tapper, who tap that particular rubber at the rubber estate, and sell it at a very cheap price. But then when the factories or the manufacturer sell the latex products, yeah, it is very very expensive. So this is not a fair trade kind of environment. Okay, so in the United States, they are very concerned with that. Other than that, they are also concerned about the organic products. Okay, this is about the safety of the products, right? And let's say if you go to United States, it's very very strict. Yeah, you cannot simply sell counterfeited products. Unlike in Malaysia, you can also have your LV bag in Serikin, or LV bag in a Prada bag in online. They are available, being sold AAA grade lah, and whatsoever, these are actually talking about the patterns, right? So you have to be careful not to what they call it, not to engage in any activities that are not socially responsible in different countries. Okay. And lastly, when you talk about international product and service marketing, you need to determine what product and service to introduce in which countries. So not necessarily everything that you sell in your country can be sold at other countries. All right. A good example is when, did I tell you about McDonald's in India? All right, so they didn't look at the culture aspect of it, so they just sell their McDonald's beef burger in India, when they didn't realize that most people in India are Hindus, which they believe their goddess are from a cow. The cow are their goddess, right? So people in India don't really eat beef. So that is when they need to think of that, whether it's actually can you do that or not, right? And then standardization versus customization. This is especially related to products that requires customization or specific modification for different types of location, or because of different culture. For example, you will see IKEA products, right? IKEA products, they make all their products standardized, but with the customized label. Okay, so that is when you see in the label at consider as a label here. Yeah, they make a standardized product, but then the packaging and also labeling could be with many languages. Okay, another example for standardization versus customization is when you are the producer of a car. So you need to know, if you are exporting the car in the United States, the drivers will be in the left side. But if you're exporting the car in the European countries, their drivers will be on the right side. Okay, so that is one customization that you need to look into when you export a car. Packaging and labeling, like I told you just now, whether, especially talking about the languages, languages on the packaging, because if you realize, there are many products that we import from Japan, and Japan, they don't bother to translate the product's label to English words. They just use the Japanese characteristics, so it might be difficult for people to know what product it is. Okay, so again, you need to understand to whom that you are targeting the product to, and which country it is. Okay, and of course it has to be according to the customs, values, and the law of that particular country. Like for example, in Brunei, for example, you can't sell wine or liquor, okay, because it's against their law, okay, and also customs and value of that particular country. So in Arab Saudi, for example, the United Arab Emirates, everything that you want to export to that particular country, okay, the law says that it has to be all halal certified. Okay, so that is the consideration that you need to look into when you are marketing your product or services in the international area. All right, so with that we finish our chapter 6. I hope you are able to understand the topic, and please do your exercises and quiz me, all right, in your Pearson My Lab platform. All right, thank you guys, bye.